Hi guys, and welcome to another video. So today what we're going to be doing is, well, what I'm going to be doing, should I say, is putting together what I believe is currently Sunderland's best and strongest starting 11. Now I know, of course, I'm a little bit premature with this because we still have signings to bring in. Well, I say that, we're probably not going to bring anyone in anymore, knowing our luck, but you know what I mean. You know, it is a little bit premature, so I'll probably update this and do another one of these maybe just after the transfer window closes or something like that. But I just thought it'd be something a bit different to do, and I'm totally not running out of video ideas. Totally not. I don't even know why you'd suggest that. Don't know why you'd do that. So we'll go on this website here. So first and foremost, of course, remember that this is only my opinion. It'll be really interesting to see what you guys think as to who is our and what is our strongest starting 11, so you can leave those in the comments down below. And of course, once I've done this, let me know what you think of what I'm going to put together. I haven't even considered this at all, so I'm going to be working it out and making this judgment myself as we go along. So first and foremost, we have the formation to get through. I am just going to simply go with what Phil Parkhurst likes to do, because we know full well that he's pretty stuck with this system right now, so there's no point in changing it because it's just not going to happen. So what we'll do, we'll kind of adjust how I'd like to, maybe bring him back a little bit, the wing backs, just a little bit, just so it shows that they are wing backs. And I've tuck these two a little bit further in, like that, so they surround the front man here, of course, which is what I like to see. But of course, the wing backs will be going all the way up and down, getting back, tracking back, and getting forward. But at least you're going to be sort of inside forwards, because I'd like to see the wing backs, obviously, of course, take the role of the winger, play a little 1-2s, and then cross it in, and then bang, it's a goal. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so in all seriousness, that is the sort of formation I'm going to go with. I think that's probably about right. So first and foremost, we do have the goalkeeper situation. So we have Patterson, the youngster, we have Burge or Matthews. Now I think it's I'm probably going to be a little bit swayed right now, because obviously Matthews made his debut the other day. Of course, it was only friendly, but he did make a hell of an error, and it kind of tainted my luck on him, which I know it shouldn't, because it is only pre-season. But you know, for his first game to do something like that and pretty much lob the ball into the back of your own net, it will, and it's going to obviously taint my view a little bit. Whereas, of course, with Burge, although he's had errors and stuff in his past with Coventry, every time he's played for us, he hasn't really put a foot wrong. He's come up with some decent saves already in this pre-season. He's come up with a couple of belting saves. So I think I'm going to stick with Burge. Burge will be my number one. Now, across the back three, I think this is probably the simplest selection to go for. The centre for me would, of course, be none other than Bailey Wright. There we go, Bailey Wright in the centre of that back three. Now on the right of that back three next to him is going to be Jordan Willis, if I can find him, because I think, of course, with Bailey Wright, I think he's probably the strongest centre back we've got. Willis, I believe, is even better when he's alongside Bailey Wright. Bailey Wright always makes whoever is on the right or left of him, I feel like Bailey Wright always makes them look a lot better, and they play a lot better because he organises the back line so well. So Jordan Willis will go there. And when you have someone in the centre of that three, because it can be a bit risky, people can see it's quite defensive, particularly with the wing backs, but if you do have someone like Bailey Wright and you play the system correctly, it gives opportunities for whoever's playing on the left or the right to actually come forward a bit and get involved in the attack, rather than it just being a simple flat three. If Bailey Wright sits a bit deeper and we're in a game where we're controlling possession, you can have the likes of the left centre back or the right centre back being Willis. You can let them get forward and get involved in the attack. Now on the left hand side, of course, well, I say of course, it's a player who I get on his back and I'm always very 50-50 with him. 1 minute I think he's looking good, the next minute is spaghetti legs, and of course that is none other than Flanagan. There we go, Flanagan there. You know, I do get on his back, and it frustrates me because he'll have one game where I think, yeah, he's a colossus. He's winning everything in the air. He's doing well. He's playing really good. But then he'll have a game where he can't pass the ball to save his life, man. Just the simplest passes, he overhits it, overplays it, or it'll go nowhere near the man he's aiming for. And I think at times his decision making is certainly questionable. Now I could have gone for someone like Morgan Feeney, who's just come in, but I think he's just someone who is I think we need someone with a bit more experience right now. You never know, Feeney could come in and have a run of games and be brilliant, but as of right now I'm just going what I can possibly go off. Now on the left hand side, of course, recently Jack Diamond did play very, very well. I actually quite like the look of him, but I think I would have to see him more to see how well he would adapt to that left wing back role. But for me, it's going to have to be Denver Hume. I'm a big, big fan of Denver Hume. There we go, Denver Hume. So Denver Hume will go there. Of course, I know he has his his ups and downs defensively, but getting forward, particularly even last season, and I've said it before, for the first half of last season, that I think quite a lot of people forget, although it was terrible for us, our performances were terrible, results were terrible up until Christmas. Denver Hume was actually our only attacking threat for all that time, and he was a shining light in a really bad period, so it's quite easily overlooked how good he actually was, and we know how good and direct his running is. Again, if he manages to improve his final ball and maybe just sharpen up a bit defensively, he could be absolutely phenomenal in this league. He really, really could. I am a massive fan of Denver Hume. Now, right back, of course, usually this should be a piece of piss. This should be a really, really easy decision, and I'd just go straight for Luke O'Nien, although, of course, Luke O'Nien isn't naturally a right back. I know people constantly say that, and it is true. He is naturally a central midfielder, but he's kept the likes of McLaughlin out, and Matthews when they were there. It's been very, very good at this right back position and solid. Okay, he's not. He always gives you sort of 6 or 7 out of 10, but he very rarely makes mistakes. You know, maybe a bit more pace is needed and a bit more sort of calmness on the ball at times. But he's generally very, very solid. He's an absolute workhorse as well. Now, the reason I say it's a bit more difficult than what I would have expected is because McLaughlin, I know it's on the pre-season, he actually put in a belting performance the other day where I just thought, Jesus Christ, where did this guy come from? And he actually played very well defensively, getting forward, and his decision making was very good, his passing, and his end product was all right as well. So, you know, it really did make things difficult. And I suppose if he continues that way, then it's only good that 09 finally has some half decent competition. But yeah, I am going to go with 09 because I absolutely love the man. There we go, Luke O'Nien. Now in the centre, this is where, you know, one of them for me is a dead on, and that is Scowen, because I think he's absolutely brilliant. I really rated him beforehand, and I was singing his praises when we signed him, but then he just didn't get a chance. And then when he was getting brought on, he was getting played as a right winger or a right wing back, which just isn't really Scowen at all. And we've seen it in the little dribs and drabs already in pre-season. I know we've only played a couple of games, but even so, he dominates that midfield. He tracks back, he gets forward, he's not afraid to shoot as well. And it's just that box-to-box midfielder that we desperately, desperately need. And I think he could fit the bill if given the chance. He could prove to be absolutely key for us this season. Now, next to him, it really could be anyone between Dobson and Power. And for me, as much as, you know, I know Ledbetter, you know, bless him, he's just not going to cut it. He's definitely not making the starting 11. Dobson at times, he can be very, very good, but also it is a very defensive option. Power, again, is someone who is very much a sideways passer, but the thing that frustrates me with him, and I've said it again and again and again on this channel, is that it's almost like we know how good he can be, but it's like one in every 10 games he'll have an absolute stormer of a game where he dominates the midfield, he drives forward, and he really brings us forward, and his defensive work as well as his attacking work is very, very good. But he's so inconsistent, which is so frustrating, but it's because I know he's got it in him. I mean, Dobson, I do like, again, but he's definitely got a mistake in him. I do actually generally prefer him, to Max Power, but I think Max Power suits sitting alongside Scowen more than Dobson would sitting alongside Scowen. So I'm probably going to put Max Power, in fact, yeah, I am. I'm going to put Max Power alongside Scowen in midfield. There we go, so it's looking very tasty there. Well, this is where things do actually get difficult for me. I think that the easiest one here for me is on this right-hand side and inside right. I would 100% put Chris Mcguire, because Chris Mcguire, although he's been, you know, some people, including myself, have said, you know, he can be quite inconsistent. The thing is, when he is on the ball and he is in form and he's got his head on, he's absolutely unplayable in this league at times. You know, not only are his set pieces, absolutely fantastic. He's got that creativity and that flair that we really do lack in the final third. So Chris Mcguire hands down on the right hand side for me. Now on the left hand side, it's a bit of a toss up really. I mean, we haven't seen enough of O'Brien. I know a lot of people have shouted for O'Brien to go down the centre. For the bits and pieces I have seen of him so far, he hasn't massively impressed me. I mean, I think he just needs a bit of more match sharpness, but maybe his decision making a couple of times during pre-season hasn't really impressed me. I say a couple of times, I know he only come on last week, but there was a couple of times where he got down the right hand side, he had acres of space. I'm thinking, just drive at him, and he'd drive forward and he'd just put his foot on the ball and kind of wait, and he'd wait for our players to come and catch up with him to help him out, when he really could have just gone for goal himself. And he just kind of ruined the play. It allowed the opposition to get back and regroup, and it made it easy for them to defend. And that's something that really, really frustrates me. I wish he just gambled and went forward. Maybe that is just a little confidence thing, because it was pretty much, you know, his first few touches as a Sunderland player. But still, you know, I would have liked to see a bit more from him. And he does make good runs, don't get me wrong. Off the ball, it looks like he does make good runs. But again, it's one of those players that I think I need to see quite a bit more to make a full judgment on it. But for me, it has to be Lyndon Gooch. Diamond's up there as well, but I know Diamond, I think it looks like Phil Parkinson's going to prefer him as a left wing back. I mean, obviously he does generally play on the left-hand side of midfield or the right. He can play either wing. But I'm going to go for Gooch because although, again, it's another player that can be massively inconsistent, he's equally just as capable of coming up with a moment of magic. There's some games that can just pass him by, but there's also games where everything, or every time he touches it, it turns to gold. He can be guilty of being a bit greedy. But I don't really mind players going for it in the final third. If they lose the ball, they lose the ball. Particularly in a game where things might look a bit stale, might look a bit static. You need a Lyndon Gooch on there to try and do something different. And he does. To be fair to him, he tries to do something different. It's just frustrating when it doesn't come off because it looks poor. But when it does come off, of course, it's we love the guy. And Gooch again, Gooch, Mcguire, they've been our top goal scorers pretty much for the last couple of seasons. So you can't really not put him in. Now up front, I could easily put O'Brien there. I could. But this is a hard one. Obviously, Wyke, for me, it's a no-no, 100% a no-no. I thought Will Grigg would be a no-no, but from bits I've seen of him, he's come back to pre-season from after, of course, lockdown, and he looks like he's lost quite a bit of weight. He looks a lot sharper in pre-season. And I think if we continue with this movement that we have up top, and we've got the youngsters coming in, of course they're not in my team right now, but the likes of Diamond or O'Brien, with more movement for him to help him out. I don't know what it is. I've all of a sudden, over the last couple of pre-season games, got this little bit more faith in Will Grigg. And before that, I had no faith in any of our strikers. Definitely not Wyke. I know he scored a couple the other day, which is great for him. It's great for his confidence. But again, he's a player who... And Philip Parkinson did say in the post-match press conference, he said that he had a bit of a pop at Wyke. He had a go at Wyke after the previous game against Gateshead because he was far too static and he was kind of a bit lazy and weren't moving. And if that's what it takes, if you constantly need to get up Wyke's arse just to frigging move, then that's just a pain in the arse in itself. Whereas Will Grigg, it's a massive season for him, not just for us but for his career on a whole. And I think he looks very, very sharp. So I'm actually going to put Will Grigg in there, which I never thought I'd do. But there it is, guys. I kind of worked that out as we went along. It maybe didn't quite look the way I thought it was going to when I first started. But I think that's a very, very decent starting 11 for what we've got right now. You could argue getting O'Brien in there, maybe Wyke, depending on what tickles your fancy. But for me, there we go. We've got Lee Burge, Wright, Willis, Flanagan, Denver Hume, Luke O'Nien, Max Power, Scowen, Gooch, Mcguire and Will Grigg as well. I've actually surprised myself a little bit there. So yeah, that is the final 11. Of course, let me know in the comments down below what you think about the starting 11. And again, tell me what you think our strongest starting 11 is as well. Like I said earlier, I will probably do an updated version of this as the transfer window goes on, or just after the transfer window, because things will change. But that's it, guys. If you have enjoyed the video, please hit the like button for me. It'd be massively, massively appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already to become a fully fledged member of the Sarny Army. But for now, you take care and stay jamming.